everybody. Welcome back to another episode in Power Her podcast. My name is Ambassador Dr. Aruna Varsani. Today we have a very special two guests in-house, and we are going to have a conversation very constructively and understand each generations how they're taking the additional education, or what is they're sourcing it from outside the classroom or outside their offices. Maureen and Jen, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. I would like you to introduce to our audience so they get to know your backgrounds and what perspective you are bringing up towards when we are talking about menstrual health.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Maureen Rono. I am the founder of Unlimited CS Initiative, where we amplify conversation on menstrual and mental health.
Okay.
We've been doing this since 2018, so it's almost 8 years, and I'm really excited to be here. I'm also a journalist by profession. I graduated recently, so I wouldn't say I have.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm also the executive director of a small flagship program for USI called the FASA Project, where we help students and graduates transition into the corporate world much more intentionally. And I'm really excited to be on your podcast.
Thank you. How about you, Jen?
Thank you again, Dr. Aruna. My name is Maina, a student at Mount Kenya University, pursuing journalism and mass communication, and I have a passion for social advocacy and women empowering.
Thank you. So we have both who comes from background of journalism. So today is going to be an interesting conversation, and I'm looking forward to it because there is a lot of things they might going to teach me today. Are you ready?
So much pressure already.
Yeah, so much pressure already, right?
Yeah.
But also being sitting with two expertise, one is upcoming and one is already polished out there. It also will be nice to have that conversation. And I want to draw back a little bit because what I understand is we are two different generation here, though we are pursuing the same career out there. Let's talk about menstrual cycle. How was menstrual cycle introduced to you first time?
Mm-hmm.
If you recall your journey when you started your first cycle.
Let me see. That was such a long time, and I don't think somebody has ever really asked me on any podcast platform about that. But I would say I was terrified because, you're bleeding for the first time, and you don't know what to do. You don't know if it's okay. So the way I got my first period for the first time was I was scared to tell my mom. My mom was working a lot at the time. So I was just like, maybe I did something wrong, maybe because I just thought it's something that had to do with me. So I didn't tell my mom for the first day it happened. And then I told our maid at the time, our auntie, I think maid is wrong, our helper. So I told our helper the night after I got my period that same day, and she went and told my mom, and my mom called me and she was like, why didn't you tell me? This is a good thing and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But so my experience, unlike those that I hear whenever I go to the field, people have terrible experiences of, telling their guidance or their moms, because sometimes they're shouted at, or they're not given proper education on how to use a sanitary pad.
Yeah.
For me, my mom was just, I think, disappointed that I didn't tell her, because we have a good relationship. So yeah, she did show me, she got a sanitary pad, showed me how to use it on my underwear. And I think that was just about it. It was just she did give me a little bit of, education on how sometimes you have menstrual cramps and stuff like that. And she said it's normal. So I think in that sense, I'm happy that my first experience was that way, because I had great women teach me how to go about the process, as opposed to those I've had of, the
yeah,
kids.
or the woman who understand that how important it is to educate the younger version of her, that protect her, prepare her for the upcoming any biological change or even any other challenge. You see, this is the way it should be. So Jen, how about your side? What was your first experience how was explained to you that what is period?
For me, I guess that the first time it was not like well explained at home, but
Okay.
but at school it was well explained, because the first time I saw like someone having periods, it was in primary school.
Yeah.
And the girl was so shocked, she didn't know like what to do, and I was one of the girls who helped her. We took her to the like deputy principal, and then we told her like this is what is happening, and she was able to be like she got help. And then for me, because I had that experience, I had already known this is what happens, and this is how it happens with girls, and I had to like, deal with it. So I knew
love
how
that.
you're supposed to take care of yourself. But back at home, we didn't have like a lot of information. I think our parents were a bit shy to talk about it to us, but I was able to know how to
But
do
do you
it.
think if your mom had enough opportunity to study, not only menstrual cycle, like exposed to the education system and everything, she'll able to speak better? She might have able to explain better earlier stage.
I think it's more so, it's not even like whether or not you like have an education as a parent. With Kenya especially, and I find that with African countries mostly, I think women, we've sort of been conditioned to not have this taboo conversations. And I say taboo in quotes because it's not really taboo. I think it's a normal conversation that needs to be had. So you had proper education at school, but for me, the school that I went to, they didn't really talk much about the menstrual conversation or period talk.
So let me just surprise you, Maureen. This is not only Kenya or Africa, it's a world problem. Even I come from India, and we do have this also. We don't talk because we've been always two things. Woman is so driven into the day-to-day activity, she forgets herself.
Yeah.
Even if you educate yourself, you still forget that your other duty, you have to do it, and only women can perform.
And it's so sad.
Yeah,
it's
but
so sad.
it's happening across continents.
Yeah.
Not only in Kenya or Africa. Because I have traveled both countries now, and I do hold a culture from where I come from, and I understand and respect also. But talking about this is not culture practice. You have to talk because you need to talk.
Yeah,
right.
I love that you said it's not cultural. It's not a cultural thing.
Yeah.
I
It's
want to say it's sort of systematic in a way,
Yes.
like it's a decision, but
Yeah.
like because I know I'm sort of like looking like I'm taking over your show, but like I have to ask you the same question. How was your experience with period? Like, could you just give me like a
So
brief?
when I received my first period, my mom did explain to me, but very narrow explanation.
Yeah.
into the way she can understand, basically, because she did not have chance to go to the school, let's put it that way. And I come from the village where, again, those days educations were not, even till today we don't talk about menstrual cycle. Let's be honest. So she explained to me, and then she just showed me that now onwards you have to put a sanitary towel, and then you don't touch anyone.
Yeah, especially boys.
So we don't touch. No, not
You
even
don't go-
boys. Ours is you isolate yourself.
Ah.
So when I grew up, then I understood why the isolations were important, because when a woman going through her menstrual cycle, her body is sometimes weak, not always, or your emotions are confused. And what woman does in her house is cooking and all these things, right? So there are chances that you can easily either picking up let's say the sufuria, and you feel dizziness, and that accidentally can also burn you.
Oh,
See, so
okay.
nobody explained us that way. We have been told don't touch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I
then
think,
that's how it was. And I remember this, and I wanted to talk to this in my other earlier podcast also, that when she told me not to touch, I wanted to experiment more, that if I'm touching my mom, what was happening. So I, without her conscious, I used to touch a cloth like this and say,
And see what
no,
will
nothing
happen.
has happened.
Yeah.
She's okay.
So
Why I've been told not to touch, but
Yeah.
because they could not express, they could not explain. That was a limitation of their education and exposure. That's why. But now, when I am now mature enough and I can now study backward and put all those dockets together, what we have been told as a practices, it makes sense. It does make sense.
Yeah.
And woman, even right now, as we are seeing it, even Nairobi is saying 2 days take a leave.
Yeah,
I love it. Like,
Yeah?
I know it.
So,
I think we met the
I
day
will
after.
literally connect with my mom what she said,
Yeah.
but it's just the message is the way they put it out is different.
I love
See,
it.
my mom said take 3 days break from everything, so I'm not cooking, I'm not doing anything, I'm resting, I'm actually looking after myself.
But do you agree with the not touching other people? Like, because your culture, I think you say that you're not allowed to touch people or like stuff.
Yeah,
Do
but
you
you see, they did not have enough knowledge how to explain. So if you say don't touch, then I say my daughter don't touch. Huh? If you could have explained to me well, I would have passed it on that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because I am so engraved into my day-to-day life, looking after my children, whatever, I don't have enough that knowledge or exposure to
Explain to
you convert those conversation into the practicality.
Yeah.
Even in today, if you look at it, a lot of things are said it's done in a religion, but there is nothing like in religion. It's
Yeah.
man-made. Some of the rules you follow, and scientifically it makes sense.
For sure.
You have
for
to
sure.
change the narrative now, right? And I understand because now I'm actually singing a song about period every day, and I educate my every bits time when I get exposure to it, and it is making sense. I need a rest. I need to protect myself. I need to also slow down because those olden days, my mom used to look after 4 children.
Yeah.
She used to go to the farm. She used to cook in the house, and our family as Asian Indian family, they're always extended family. It's not that my sibling and my parents. It's my father, their brothers, their sisters, and then their parents. So you're cooking for almost like 10 to 15
Yeah.
people. It's not like 2 people cooking is different. But cooking for 15, you are standing next to the guest for another 3-4 hours. Then
Yeah.
you feel dizziness, right?
Yeah, you will.
So they come up with that. You step down. You take a step down and isolate yourself.
I definitely agree.
It does make sense, but it just needs to change the narrative.
Yeah.
Because even young youth nowadays do ask me, and they said we still do practice this, but we have to explain to them that why it's been put in.
I think the way that it needs to be explained now that we have enough
Yeah.
resources, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say enough resources, but like we
Knowledge
are privileged
around
enough
also.
to have knowledge and access to information is women need to rest during this time of the month
Yes.
because it's something that changes your entire body, your
Yes.
hormones change and
Yeah.
your mental well-being as well is also
Yeah.
affected. So I appreciate that there is
Yeah.
enough, well, not enough education because we're still that's something that we're still fighting for. But I appreciate when I see people like yourself and, other menstrual equity advocates fighting for the same rights. And yeah, it's something to applaud.
But it's good to understand the old practices. You know what, Jen, Maureen, when I go to the ground and I go to all the countries in Kenya, there is Maasai community, then there is Luo community. There's so many community I come across and see what their practices around this olden days, even till now. It makes sense if you say that, this was the way of sustainability. I know product was not available. That's something we as a what do you call the educated generation needs to put those pads out there, right?
Yeah.
They don't know the pad we have innovated until you educate them, bring it to them, isn't it?
Yeah.
But before that, they used to use certain material to manage themselves,
Yeah.
and that will not call a poverty. That is a sustainability. A practically sustainability. I know now we are living in 21st century and it has to change.
It has to change.
Yeah, but I cannot say those practices are wrong.
It was sustainable for them at the time.
Yeah. So how even when I go to the ground, then why are we labeling them and say, you do this and this is wrong? That is the time we are pushing that tribe in a corner and say, close your mouth and don't talk about this. I will talk.
Yeah.
And that's not the way you pass the education.
That's not.
You
I
have to
agree.
understand what it was existed before. Now bring it the new system or new innovation we have brought and now integrate with it. You can't cut the other system totally.
Yeah.
Slowly with the multiple dialogue, multiple explanation, you transit them towards the what is latest available.
I think my takeaway from this question is the fact that you didn't call it poverty. You called it, that was a sustainable thing for them to do at the time. And it's something to ponder with, because right now I'm seeing it from your perspective. When you go to the field, you're like, these people are still using the same sustainable like other alternatives that they used to use, back in the day.
Yeah.
But I'm also struggling now with someone who has access to information as a journalist. I wonder, I'm struggling with it a little bit, because how do I not call it poverty? Because, we live in the 21st century. We have, people should be having access to menstrual products.
Which is fine. But Jen, Maureen, now think about it. You're sitting in this room, okay? You're educating right now.
Yeah.
If these cameras was not there, can this education go out of ballroom?
No.
Absolutely
So
not.
you being into the city, you have to make an effort to put this somewhere into the outside the city.
Yeah.
So it's us, it's the system, it's the people who has a privilege to experience first,
Yeah.
qualified these products. But how do we make it to reach to those people who don't have access to city?
Yeah.
So it has to come together.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we say a rural area. There's a lot of disconnection, not only period education, right?
Yeah.
So whenever I go that side, even the statistic when I see sometimes online, and I said, this is making sense here, but when I'm going on the ground, there's lots more happening. So where is this coming from?
It is so sad, because the statistics right now, when it comes to Kenya, you hear that 65% of women and girls are not able to afford sanitary pads. So then you wonder, city people like us, I'm going to call us city people, even though we're not city, but we are obviously at an advantage. We're seeing this from an advantage point of view, but our audience, we don't know, we have different people are going to watch this video, and some of them will be watching from a point of they don't have the same access and privilege. These are definitely necessary conversations.
So the poverty comes in a different shapes now. Being sustainable is not poverty. I always say that should be out of this conversation, because you managed it until you get to the accessible items. It's but going to the extreme step of suiciding and teen pregnancy, which is sex for pads happening, right? And also going into the dropout of school, and that's where the poverty sits now. Because when we are having structured education system, the other system needs to be in a place also and say, I'm going to support this school with the menstrual product, because that's what girl requires. The way we're saying, a student need a pen and paper to come to school. Student need fees to also come to, the same way we say student need the sanitary towels to come to school. So it's a system. It's not anyone else, right? It's a system which needs to follow. How come education is following very interior and the other things are slacking then? So it's the people who are educating for it, or I will even say ministries who is working towards this. They need to push further, see how they can amplify this and make it available on the ground.
I love this.
There's a disconnection, right? Because who is the leader on the county level? See all those ministries. And the areas are leaders. So they need to bridge the gap between what's happening in a city as a policy making, as a distribution, as a planning and everything, and bridge that gap. But I come back to you, Jen. How do you think the social media is shaping out also conversation on menstrual health? The specific on social media, because you are in that age bracket where you are too much exposed to the social media. How do you think they are shaping it up?
I think social media is a great platform where students and also those who are there outside, who are they have not gone to school, but now they can be able to access internet. They can be able to watch a podcast like this one, and they can be able to learn what is happening and learn something about menstrual health, how one can be able to use the sanitary towels in a better way. The social media have been able to give us the knowledge that we need as students and also those who are in marginalized areas.
But did you manage to see any social media episode where you surprised yourself and said, I never knew this?
About sanitary towel.
About towel or menstrual health or even mental health in menstrual space?
Okay.
Something you come across and it surprised you.
Yeah. I've okay, social media. So I've seen somewhere I was just doing my research, and then I've come to a point that I was able to see you cannot only use the sanitary towel pads only, but you can also use other products like tampons, and that was the case. I didn't know there was like tampons. I used to know only about the sanitary towels like the Sunny Girls and others, but I never knew about the tampons.
And the menstrual cups as well.
Yeah.
If you go out, the products is flooded. The market is flooded with the products. So there is tampon, then there is a disc, and then there is a pads, reusable pads, single-use pad. Now, come back to you. Will you be able to have a communication around you who are the males in case you need help in your menstrual space?
Yeah, right now I will.
You will be able to.
Yeah, in the past I used to be like, I remember one time my neighbor told me to go for a sanitary pad or towel, and then it was covered. So when I came back, the husband was there, and now she tells me, why are you hiding it? And I'm like, because it's not supposed to be seen by men. And then right now I can be able to carry it, even if the shopkeeper, the one who is selling it to me, I can be able to carry it like that. Yeah. So right now I'm a bit I'm educated, not even a bit educated about sanitary towels.
There was a time I was in a supermarket. This is when I had to buy a pad for a couple of women in my house only, and I was speaking for myself what my strength and length of period is accordingly, long night wear, day wear, and then I had to go to again. So I took some time there in a pad section in a supermarket because 3 women are using different pads and different style of pads. I'll put it. And then when you see a little bit on your side and you say, oh, why the gentlemen are so deeply looking into it? Like, why am I taking too long? And when I went to the counter space also, when the seller, the person who normally do the accounts for you to pay the bill, he's like, how much pads she's buying? Why they are all so different here? So these are the little observation you do. And there was one, especially to the Maureen, there was a time I did one radio interview in Samburu County. Definitely I had a translator to translate to me. And we were having conversation, and at one point we went live and we opened the floor to people to ask questions. So one dad actually asked us question and said, is it okay if I go and buy a towel for my daughter? And you know what the audience range was? Almost about 25,000 people listening, because radio was very popular that side. And this I'm talking about 2 years back. So I asked him a question back and I said, are you the one who is a biological dad to this daughter? He said, yes. I said, you are the one, or have you ever bought a diaper for your daughter? He said, yes, I used to go regular because my wife cannot cook and look after child and carry a child and go to supermarket. So I go. I said, then what has changed?
I love
what
it.
has changed? See, these are the small, we need to awaken this and unlock this, because we have locked so much and pushed them in so far. We need to unlock this, that they should feel comfortable to do this. They should feel comfortable to talk about this. They were talking on a radio because their personalities were not.
They were hidden.
But what if I bring that same dad here? He might not be able to speak because nobody has built that confidence, nobody has shared. No, he doesn't know how to deal with it or react.
You're saying this, and it's so important to have these conversations, because the question that you posed to her was in regards to social media and her experience with it. When I even speak from a journalist perspective, how storytelling and still how social media affects it, there is a lot of openness when it comes to people talking about having period talks on social media now. But as a menstrual equity advocate, I've done my research. You see that there's much more openness to having this conversation on social media. but that depends on who you're speaking to and where you are.
Yeah.
If you're among young people, and especially those in learning institutions and online, there will be a lot of openness to it, because they're now joking more about it. They're seeing more educative content on social media in terms of this, and there's also a lot of young people like myself, and everybody here is actually young. A lot of young people like us, they are pushing for more openness in terms of having these conversations and pushing for change when it comes to this. So there's openness when it comes to that. But if you're speaking in terms of homes and certain cultures, and I use the word certain because not all cultures, there is so much silence and a lot of stigmatization when it comes to this issue. So I guess I'm saying this to say that yes, there is openness, but sometimes you can find somebody someone is very open to talk about their period and menstruation on social media, but at home in their day-to-day environment, they are very quiet, because obviously of how their home setting is, and maybe just the type of environment that they grew up in.
And somebody has to break that ice.
Somebody definitely has to break that, and it starts with you, Jen. Students, when you go home, start with the younger toddlers, the primary school kids, engage them to have such conversations. I hate it when you go to a shop and then someone is buying sanitary pads, or you go buy sanitary pads, and they feel the need to wrap up the sanitary pad in a newspaper and then top it up with another bag. Why
that's why
and when it comes to the diapers,
they won't do that.
They will give you the diaper like it's literally like they'll give you the one like this. You will why is that? It's something that frustrates me a lot.
I think it's to way this when I see the shopkeeper who we have trained him and how we receiving it also. So when he gives in, immediately you want to hide it somewhere, and that shows also that I'm not supposed to give like this. See, the seller is also trying to attract the buyer to make sure they are comfortable to buy it. But as a seller, as a buyer also, we need to also make sure that we are making that comfortable transaction, because there was a time I was having this conversation that when you go to the retail stores or maybe pharmacy, and this is how it's been wrapped into the paper, then what was the suggestion? We should have a female seller in that section, and I said,
in
anybody
2025 or 6.
How would you request that, unless you go for a medical something related to woman health, and then you want to express a little bit, and you might not men might not understand, then but still in a pharmacy place there is no doctor, right? So what I like to understand now, because you are into this both going into the journalism space, what are the taboos and myths have you heard about it?
For me, I think it's even when we are talking with Maureen, sometimes you're like, it's that time of the month, and you are hiding. It's you won't say it's period, but you just say it's that time of the month. What is that time of the month? You're hiding. You don't want to say like I'm having my periods. So I think that word we should be able to say like. It's okay. It's not that okay. It's something that is always used everywhere. Whenever you go somewhere, you will just hear someone say it's that time of the month. But I think it's something that you can break and make it more easier for us to say, like, even in public, I'm having my periods. It's okay. That word is still still lingers in my mind. It's that time of the month, because that word is always
definitely,
used
and it's something
everywhere.
that we use. I think a lot of young people. Like I said, if you grow up in an environment that conditions you to be silent around this topic, you will automatically grow up saying, it's that time of the month. Which time of the month? There's so many things that you can do in a month, you know? So I always tell people, say it's your period. And I know you know this from experience, because we fight a lot about this. I think one of the myths that there's so many myths, Dr. Aruna.
Yeah, but which one you have come across?
I think the myth that I hear a lot from the younger kids whenever we go to the field and, do the work that we do is when you're on your period, especially for the 13-year-old girls, is you're not supposed to hug a boy, or you're not supposed to hug like anybody because it's gonna get you pregnant. That's a myth. That is a myth.
Yeah.
It's frustrating to me, like, the Taruna is gonna get me so worked up because it's so sad. It's 2026.
Hugging someone.
Yeah, it's 2026. People shouldn't still be thinking like this. And yeah.
I came across so many.
Yeah.
You are dirty.
You're unclean.
You are unclean. You are smelling.
Yeah.
You are a girl. That is also a taboo. You know that.
Especially the dirty one.
Yeah, you are a girl. That's also, and then don't touch.
Keep distance.
Keep distance. Stay away. Don't try.
I think the most common one is the dirty one.
Dirty one is the common one, but still I come across like don't hug. Keep quiet. Don't talk about it.
Yeah.
These are all the myths and beliefs and taboos around I come across when I interact with the different culture spaces.
Yeah.
And what do you think now? What kind of practices girls are using, unhealthy practices out there? What have you heard about it? Because I know you both come from, again, in a space where you're researching a lot of, you're hearing a lot of, you may be looking up to something. Like, what are the unhealthy practices girls are using to manage their menses?
So let me go first because I've seen this from where I come from, and it was from a teenage girl.
Okay.
And the mom is there, the dad is there, but they have not like shown this girl how to dispose, to even maintain their hygiene.
Okay.
So you will find this girl is maybe on their menses, but what they will do with the pad after like removing it, they will just go dispose. You just have like a dustbin out there in maybe like your plot. They will just go and dispose it there, open.
Yeah.
So they don't know how to fold it back, use pad.
Also, girls are not really taught where they should dispose their sanitary pads, use sanitary pads properly. So, I think another... Wait, were you done?
No, so
okay.
I was trying to like talk to the girl, but at the same time I'm like, the mother is there, the dad is there. What am I supposed to do with this? Because it was not good. Actually, it was filthy. So it was bad because why are you leaving your, it's not something that is bad, but why are you leaving it open? Yeah, and someone else will just
There
come
should
and
be a respect
collect.
to it also, how to, and fully aware that somebody also will come to this dustbin to dispose something else.
Yeah, that's so difficult because I know of a story from a neighbor told me this, that they had someone, a teenager, I think it's probably also lack of communication or education from the parents.
Yeah.
But with this case, you will tell me if it's common sense or the parents are to blame. So this person, you know how mattresses they come with that bed that comes with a mattress.
Yeah.
So she would use every time she's on a period, she's putting it under the mattress. And so this cleaner was just cleaning the house one time, and every time she comes to this room, it's terrible. It smelled terrible, obviously, and they would not find the source of it. And then finally, they discovered it's used sanitary pads, and it breaks my heart that people don't know how to manage their period. Obviously, if for you to be able to know how to manage your period, you need to know how to dispose your used sanitary pads. I think I heard something else on how people don't know how to manage their periods.
What unhealthy practices they're practicing? The products.
Oh yeah, the products. Not even the products necessarily, because like you said, everybody has like you said, people use different products, whatever you like is not what I like, but that's only for privileged people, because if I'm a student and I'm broke, I can only afford Senegal or what do we call the other one? Always, or the other they didn't pay
Yeah.
us to
Femi girl.
so we went to do that. So we only use reversible sanitary pads by Together for Care Foundation. So yeah. So anyway, I think another thing, a way that I would say they struggle to manage their periods would be, you find a student with a heavy cycle or even just a light cycle using one pad from
Yeah.
morning to the next day, to the day that they shower. And I think that's something that needs to change as well.
So in my 13 years of practice, no, I would not say practice, going outreach to distribute the pads, I've seen girls are using banana leaves. They are using cotton.
Yeah.
They use cow skin. Because, but that is, when I studied why cow skin, then it makes sustainable solution in that area. But
It is?
yeah, because you're consuming the meat and cow skin is becoming a waste and you're using it because there was no other education and availability of anything those days.
Okay.
But it's unhealthy in today's narrative.
Yeah.
So it's unhealthy. And then there is that culture that they dig hole into their compound and sit there for 3 days.
Yeah.
I've never
They
heard of
I've
also-
heard of it.
They also, in one of the county, the oil jerrycan, the 5 liters or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
those 1.5
yeah.
liters, they cut top up part of it and they sit there for 3 days.
I have seen it.
Despite that, the mattresses, the feathers, peppers,
Old clothes.
tissue,
Wow.
old clothes, all these things practices girls do out there. And despite this, there's something I ever come across in one of the culture that they have been convinced that if you have a physical relationship with me, you'll not get your period. But the next thing she found herself that she was pregnant, so definitely she'll not get her period. But now this problem is even bigger than the period itself.
Yeah.
So this is how narrow it gets when we talk about education, then empowerment.
I see that.
It's happening. And whenever I go to because my outreach are in a school, when I see the board on the head teacher's office, after age of 13 to 14, which is grade 5 to 6, you see the girls' number is dropping. And then from there, either there is other culture practices happening, or maybe there's a practices that tribe do is early marriage and all these things. But still today, the top one stand is the sanitary towel. I know there are other challenge, fees, uniform, other things, but that's the top one. So coming to you, Jen, because your generation is going to watch this podcast, what is your message to them?
So what I would say is that menstrual health is not just a women issue. It's a human rights and an educational issue, and we should educate each other about what is like happening to women and also men. I was actually telling Emmanuel, who was here before,
Yes.
I would have been with him here so that I can hear what he was saying about menstrual health, because
Yeah.
men sometimes, there are those who like agree with you and they support you when you're going through that, but there are others who don't have knowledge about it. So yeah, it's not just a women issue, it's something that is wide and everyone should know about it.
Yeah, and Maureen, what will be your message to the society of journalism? I'll put it now, because there is those people needs to put the conversation forward,
Yeah.
and we need them.
I think first I need to agree with her. Menstruation is not just a woman's or a girl's issue. It's so important. I think it's one of the reasons why whenever we go out to the field as, Unlimited says, we ensure that we have the boy child in the room as well so that they can get the same education that the girl child is getting in terms of menstruation and menstrual hygiene. So love that. Proud. I think for the journalist or for the people who are in the storytelling space, first I have to say that, storytelling is such a powerful tool, especially in terms of, when it comes to having conversations like this, because when you use a story to relay something, it makes it much more easier to the audience or to the community to relate and to be able to see themselves or someone they know in that story, as you know, as opposed to just using facts and you go on about with your day. So to journalists or to just people who have a platform either on social media or writing platforms, I would say that we are still in the fight for menstrual equity. We have, obviously, when you go to social media, you find a lot of people talking about this and having this conversation, and everybody has their own perception, calling themselves, an advocate when sometimes they don't have enough information on the topic.
Yeah.
So I would say that do your homework very well when it comes to putting out stories on menstrual health, on menstrual hygiene, so that I think I want to see, my biggest dream is to be able to see menstruation or period talk as part of normal health conversations. It's about time.
Yeah.
We have I think over 1 million people talking about fighting for menstrual equity, and it's good to see, but I want to be able to retire from this job. I don't want to be called a menstrual equity advocate forever. I want to retire, and that will only happen once we've seen that we are making so much progress in terms of this. I think one more thing, and the last thing that I would say in regards to this is, I think I also want to see better and stronger systems in terms of people who are making these policies for us.
Yeah.
We should have the youth, we should have more women being part of this conversation so that we can actually see the change that we need, because the people who understand the issue should be the one making these decisions, because we understand our own bodies as women. So that's all I got to say. Yeah.
Thank you. So this comes to us now. Are we ready to involve the community? Are we ready to have amplifying our conversation? Are we ready to seek help? If you are into this space and you're becoming one of the journalists, or you are in this space, please drop down your comments and reach out to us, or which other topic we should bring into the menstrual space. Therefore, thank you for listening to us, and I look up to our next conversation. Thank you.